Welcome! This is a trick that I would like to be called Druck jump, if that's okay with the community. And the reason for that is the other hook jump in Stone Tower Temple, the one that you do right down there and you go to the top, was initially Gigo's idea. Now, Turk and I both worked on it and we finally got a new setup that, doesn't use the corner in the back, or it's very consistent, etc, etc. But originally that idea was Gigo, so I would prefer that to be called Gigo Jump. Gigo Jump, if that's fine. Sorry, it's a little late. And then we can call this one Druck Jump. Kappa, if that's okay with you guys. Anyways, that's just an aside. We're gonna start out with, just like before, there is a line on the textures that's vertical. It's right there. It's subtle, and it's probably not easy to see in OBS. It might be easier to see it on your own. Line up with that. Line up links the top of his hood with that, I guess the point of it. Turn around, do 2 vertical slashes, and then 1 right to left slash. That is different from the other one. And I think I moved. Awesome. Good shield turns of mine. You want to make sure that they all finish out, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing them very quickly. Okay, you want to get ISG, place the bomb, get ISG, and then you're going to shield the bomb. Now that's going to put you into position. You can either tap left or ESS left. It's up to you. Okay, great. By the way, there's a fire keys that spawns near that corner. Sometimes it's an issue, sometimes it's not. It wasn't this time, thankfully, but you may want to kill that. Anyways, moving on. So I have both hook and target held. You want to get that bottle out. Whatever you want to do, you can release Hookshot if you want to. I'm just using middle finger to get it equipped onto X. But anyways, you get that. You're going to hold down. You want to do this for 2 frames. That's going to line you up the top of the Hookshot tower. Great. Fantastic. Drink milk on that frame. Next, back walk over to the Hookshot tower. Now, over here, when you're in front of it, you're going to do 1, 2, 3 back walk frames. Then you're going to release. That way Link doesn't, he just evens out. You're going to be holding neutral on the control stick for this. You're going to want to pause for those. That's just is what it is. Next up, you're going to not hold a control stick direction yet, but you are going to hold, you're going to press and hold the hookshot button for 2 frames. You want this frame, and on this frame is when you're going to start holding down. As per usual with Hookshot Tower hook jumps, you're going to wait until this frame, the frame where the red dot is between those 2 lines, horizontal lines, on both the top and bottom on the Hookshot Tower. And top and bottom of the red dot, I mean. You're going to release everything. You're going to pause early on. You want to equip choose bombs and spring water. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to unequip hook, and Link actually has to put the hook away before you can pull anything else out, specifically a shoe out. So you have to wait a bit. You gotta wait for that before you can pull the shoe out. Great, I did it right. So I have a shoe out. You just have to wait for it. The game doesn't let you input anything for whatever reason why he's putting the hook shot away in that case. It is what it is. Anyways, so I'm targeting now. Okay, good. That should work. Now, we got these 3 like antennae or hair. I usually think of them as hair of the Stone Tower head, the entrance to Stone Tower Temple. You want to wait until the top of this one is either very near the black bars, the bottom black bar, or it's completely covered. Sometimes it'll be very close, sometimes it'll actually be covered. You just need it to be relatively close to that before you actually shield. Okay, I should not have done that. So there you can tell, it's pretty close. I'm going to shield on this frame. Fantastic, I did the thing. Now you have to wait a couple seconds before you can actually target the chew that I know of. But you wait a little bit, you'll be able to target a chew. The camera's a little too far down for it to actually target it. But once you're close enough, you can target the chew. I think anyways. Could be wrong on that. But anyways, what you're going to do here is you're going to angle change down. Then after that, you're going to wait 6 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I missed the frame. 6. It missed the frame, I think. But you want the angle 1C20. And on this frame, you're going to target to lock the angle in. But if you want a visual cue, because who doesn't want a visual cue for it? There's a pretty good one. So if you look right down here, Link's foot and his hand, they kind of make a good hemicircle or semicircle, whatever it's called. They kind of just flow right together. That's a pretty good one. Or you could look over here, his hand up here doesn't quite become covered, but hello? You can still see his hand a little bit, I guess. Depends on the camera angle, I think. So in this case, you can still see his hand, but it's almost making a good line with his hair right here, I guess. Whatever you want to do, doesn't really matter, as long as you know what you're looking for. So you're going to target to lock that frame in. Now, we need to do 6 megas, but with this lineup, we're not exactly lined up with the crystal yet. What we have to do is do a curved mega, and with this curved mega, we're going to, on the first frame after the mega flip input, you're going to pull chew and then hold right. Now we want the frame after this one, we want this frame, and we're going to hold neutral and shield. Not sure if the neutral part matters, that's just what I've been doing. For reference, I'm going to just not hold right in this case. And the frame, of course, is the one where his left foot is actually below the shield, and you can still see the backside of the shield. So we're gonna hold shield here. Now we're gonna do what I like to call 5 height megas. They're a little awkward, but you have 3 frames to do the chew or shield input. So here's the first one. That's number 1. Number 2. That hurt my brain a little bit. Okay, I thought you had 3 frames for that, but I guess not. Thought for sure I mapped that out earlier. But anyways, this lets me show something off. Okay, it looks like you only get those 3 frames if you pull chew on the first frame. That's awesome. So it's 3 frames to shield. So that's cool. Good. Alright, that's not what I wanted actually. So you either do 5 hover or 5 megas, height megas, and then a chew hover on top of that. Or you do 5 of them, and for 2 of them you go back, you go further, you go 1 frame past the height mega frame for shielding a chew. That's going to put you back further, and then you don't have to do that final chew hover. Now for that chew hover, if you do 5 perfect height megas, whatever you want to call them, then I recommend doing not quite a height hover, but somewhere in between a height and a distance hover. And the reason for that, I think, is because sometimes you get variability with the megas. Depends on if you get a first framer mega or a second framer mega, and I think the first framer megas put you back just a little further, in which case a height hover will work. But sometimes you get those distance megas and you don't go back quite so far, so you want more distance. So I would recommend a somewhere between the two. That way you're covering your bases for both of them. But anyways, I went back further than I would normally, so I'm just going to do a quick height hover and hopefully this will work. I'm not too confident, but hopefully it will. Okay, it looks good actually. So I'm going to assume it works, hoping it works, and just move on with it. Now, on this, you want to hold down, and that's going to actually make Link face the switch. The reason for that is the camera is still assuming that it's facing what Link is facing, like it was before the cutscene of using spring water. So we have to account for that. You want to get to that switch as soon as possible, because you want to make sure that this block is out of the way and the cutscene is over by the time that the spring water is interacting with the crystal switch, or at least for 1 frame. So that's why you want to hold down for this. So I recommend holding down and then pausing. You have 2 frames to actually get it. So I will show what that looks like. Okay, good. So this is the first frame. I paused in the first frame with holding down. You can see Link is still facing where he was originally. But if you buffer a frame with down, again, he's going to be facing towards the switch-ish, mostly. What you want to do is you want to, at this point, do normal rolls, normal movement. You want to try to hit the corner of the switch, that way you hit it as soon as possible. You want that cutscene to end again before the spring water hits the switch. Should look something like this. And unfortunately, I think that I was a little forward. Darn it. So I'm going to have to do this over again. Yay. I'm going to pretend that worked, but anyways, let's just do it again, then I'll do it. I've done this tutorial several times over, making small mistake here and there, whatever, and then finally stumbling upon an actual issue, which is that whole shoe hover at the end, what to do with it. But anyways, this will serve as the do-over. Show that it works. If you do everything right, Kappa, just like you'd expect. There we go. I didn't want to height hover. I hope I got a lot of firsts, but I don't think I got a lot of firsts. Okay, thank goodness it worked. I kind of hit the switch a little late, so I was afraid it wasn't going to work. But do it over again, a couple more times, just to show that it can be done. I just really don't feel like redoing the whole thing over again. Or redoing the whole tutorial. What? Okay. This guy is the one you want to kill. Okay, that time I did hold right, for reference. Was that 5 back? I guess I'll cheat and make a safe state just in case. It was not 5 back, it was 4 back. I did not want a height hover game, but whatever, fine. Hopefully it just works. It looks like it'll work. Okay, it still worked even though I went out the switch. I was expecting the block cutscenes to not cooperate, but yay, that's good to know that still works. I was off to the left too, so I wasn't on the switch first frame possible, so to speak. One more time. Actually, 2 more times probably. Cool. Thank you. Maybe I should just call this Druck jump in the title too. That way people like have to do it. Checkmate. Kappa. That's totally how trick naming works. Good, I wasn't holding down. That's way late. Wow, it's late for me. I keep forgetting I want to do spring water first. Be less cursor movement, but whatever. Yeah, so that's what happens if you pull a bomb sheet too early. As I was mentioning earlier. It's such a cool caveat, guys. Oh yeah, this is what do it. Okay. Ooh, that's unfortunately that was very close to the visual frame. Yay! I didn't do a high hover that time. Okay. Hooray!